Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over the all-new Genesis GV60 Advanced. This is the more affordable version of the GV60. Before we get in this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Genesis of Linden, Utah for giving me some time with this GV60. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Marie. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money, the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So with the Advanced, we have a 77.4 kilowatt hour battery pack paired to a dual electric motor system. Total system output is 314 horsepower and then 446 pound-feet of torque, with range being 246 miles. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, with this particular white paint, it's kind of hard to see what's happening, but it's raised there on either side. And then I love the headlight design here on the new GV60. It looks pretty crazy. And then look at the metallic flake there in the paint. And then you guys can see the grille down below, how it's all dark. We do have parking sensors integrated into the front end, as well as a camera right there. And putting it all together, I think it's really good looking for an EV. Camera on the side here, tire wheel setup is 255, 45, 20 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see with the wheel design, even for more of a quote-unquote base wheel design, it still looks pretty crazy. Notice the fender flares are painted a different color than the bodywork, and then you guys can see that continues all along to the side. We've got the cool pop-out door handles, body painted mirrors, and then we do have some chrome trim around the windows, and it kind of makes like a lightning bolt design there on the very back. And putting it all together, the two-tone with the white and the silver, I think it looks pretty cool. Now I've got two different key fobs here for the GV60, and the texture on them is actually like slightly different. This one isn't as soft, I guess, as the white one, or smooth, I mean. Anyways, we've got our lock and unlock function with this one, as well as the opening for the hatch, and then we've got the self-park feature, as well as the remote start on the other side, and then the opening for the charging port, and we'll open up the hatch here. If you're wondering, the charging port's right here. Just press this button, it'll open it up. This does have DC fast charging, and when you're done, just press that, it'll close it. Now, popping into the rear, we've got this cargo cover here in the back, and in terms of storage space, it's actually really solid, and I really like the little metallic plaques here on either side. When you're all done, you can lock this and then just press that, and that will lower the hatch right back down. So we've got this blacked out spoiler. Notice it actually kind of dissects the rear window, which is pretty interesting, and then we've got all of our badges here on the back, and then you guys can see with our parking sensors there at the very bottom. And putting it all together, I think that the GV60, just in general, is a pretty cool looking car. Sorry about the lighting with this shot, but anyways, you guys can see we've got the rear sunshades here, and then really nice trim all over the door panel with the stitching throughout. And then look at the finish on the window controls right here, speaker for the Bang & Olufsen sound system. I mean, it all looks very high quality. And then here are the seats. So I just reviewed a performance before this, and well, I'll tell you, those seats look a lot cooler than these ones, but these are still really nice seats. Now, legroom here in the rear is actually really solid. We got a little storage pocket here. Have a vent as well, and then we got some USBs down below, and then you guys can see here for the passenger side passenger seat, hopefully that makes sense, you can move the front seat. And then headroom back here is also good. And would you look at this, we got a cup holder armrest. Now with the front door panel, really nice padding just like the rear, and hopefully you guys will be able to even see something in this shot. Anyways, we've got all of our window controls right here with our mirror adjustment, and again, that looks really fancy. Memory seat functionality, and then we do have blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. Now the front seats have that same cool design as what you have in the rear, perforated all down the center, and then we do have all of our power adjustments here on the side. Steering wheel is actually power adjustable, and then we've got controls for like the parking brake, stability control, and again, I like the finish there, and then look at like the vent, and then on the dash as well. Taking a look at the steering wheel, material use all around looks fantastic. Got darker stitching in the center. We've got these paddles here in the back for the regen, and then you guys can see adaptive cruise control with our steering assist. We also have our drive mode select on the steering wheel as well, and turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock. Now popping in the gauge cluster first off, when I change the drive modes, notice it gives us a cool animation there with each of the modes, which I think is fun. And then as for the rest of the screen, I think it's really good. So first off, it shows us stuff like range, our state of charge, shows us temperature outside, power usage, all the stuff you're going to need with an EV. And then we've got this little like widget screen here on the side, which we can use to scroll through different bits of info on the vehicle, systems in the vehicle, you know, all the normal stuff. Now in reverse, we do have a 360 camera system with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. You can see the bird's eye view as well. And we also have this cool exterior view with it. So from a camera system perspective, it's solid. Now as for the rest of the screen, first off, response time is fantastic, as you can see, but I can also control it via a dial if I want. And just like other new Genesises, you've got the 3D setup. So you basically have like this three-dimensional view of the car that drives in, and then you can spin it around and then press on different things to set those up. So kind of a little bit more fun compared to like regular car setups, I suppose. And then you have the EV tab as well that lets us know how much range we have with the climate controls on versus off. Not to mention, really nice material use on the dash, just looks fantastic. And then you guys can see the vents also look really cool. Now here are our controls for the dual zone climate system, and you can see that the finish on the buttons just looks really nice. And then you got like shortcut buttons for like nav, all that kind of stuff for the radio as well. And then we've got our little charging port section down below with some storage below that. And there's kind of like this little secret storage cubby right here. So we've got this little fingerprint scanner here, volume control on the one side, and then you get your tuner control on the other side. And then this is that shifter for the infotainment system. And then we've got the cool dial shifter, which if I turn off the GV60, notice it'll do that. And if I turn it back on, notice it'll pop back up. A couple cup holders here, and then we have heated and cooled seat controls, heated steering wheel, that's for your auto hold, the camera system, parking sensors. And look at the center console here. Got a wireless phone charging pad, decent storage. Really nice padding, and this has the file cabinet, glove box is what I like to call it. And then up top, you guys can see we've got the control for the full panoramic sunroof, which it opens up actually the other way. Funny because it's kind of like a mouth. Now this is a pre-owned GV60, so I don't have the window sticker for it, but with the advanced package, your sticker price brand new would have been around $60,000-ish. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility of the hood, and hopefully you can see the heads-up display. Both the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring, and throughout the rest of the rear. And as we are reversing out, first off, you got the turn signal camera, which is pretty cool. Also, fingerprint scanner. You guys can see the warning there for the rear. And I did forget to mention, this also has the facial recognition on the outside, so you can turn yourself into a key fob. So that's another cool feature that kind of goes with that whole setup. I guess that's what we'll use the beginning of the driving portion for the videos for. I review so many cars, sometimes I forget to go over all the features, which definitely makes me look bad. But you know, if I at least put it somewhere in the video, if it's somewhere in the video, it counts, I think. But anyways, seat comfort with this is fantastic. Now I did drive, like I said, a performance earlier today, and so it'll be interesting to see how this drives compared to the performance. Obviously it's going to be slower, but, you know, I guess I want to see, like, is the suspension different? And do I feel like I need to have the extra power the performance has? Man, we got U-turn gang. Okay, so they're turning in here, so we are good to go finally. First off, torque's really good. Obviously, an electric car, you know, it's instant, but it still feels like a decent amount of power. Now, I've got this set, yeah, I've got it max. So basically, it's one pedal drive, so you guys can see that's not braking at all. That is the GV60 slowing down for us. And steering's really light. Sorry, this is my tripod. Yeah, this actually feels different. So the performance, I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like the performance had better suspension, slightly. This is still very comfortable for what this is. Don't get me wrong, very comfortable. But I think the performance might have had slightly more comfortable suspension. Slightly more. Not a massive amount. Handling's still good at this. Seat comfort's good. The performance had more comfortable seats. Also, it had massaging seat function. I mean, it's obviously it's like $10,000 more money, so you're going to get more features. $10,000 buys you quite a bit, but it still drives really well. It basically just has like all of the good stuff about the GV60. It just doesn't have the icing on the cake that the performance gives you. We'll let this Pathfinder go first because she just pulled like way over. And I guess we're letting this yellow one go first as well. We're just being a good Samaritan, letting everyone drive before us. Okay, let's finally get on the move. That lady was about to run that stop sign though. I mean, I hope you guys saw that on camera. She was like, she was right there, that is for sure. Okay, so we are continuing along again. I'm in sport mode now, and you can definitely feel a substantial difference between being like comfort mode and sport mode. Sport mode is way more aggressive with the throttle and everything, so there is a pretty big difference there. I love one pedal drive so much. I kind of wish that like ice cars had it too. It wouldn't make sense in a nice car, but it's just a nice feature to have. Okay, I guess that this guy's letting me go for the first time here. So yeah, getting on a little bit there. I mean, just like off, it's got pretty good torque. Okay, so let's get a quick acceleration here. Woo! That's still really quick. It's not quite as punchy as the performance. Obviously, this is down on power, but it's a lot quicker than I expected. It's still like, it still goes. Something that's interesting about the Genesis GV60 with the performance and with this, when you go full throttle, it actually pulls, even if I have this set at max regen to where it's like doing one pedal drive, it actually pulls back from doing one pedal drive, so the car just keeps coasting after you let off. So it's kind of interesting. But overall, I think the Advanced is a pretty good car. I obviously prefer the performance. I mean, it's $10,000 more, so like hopefully I prefer it. But you know, for $10,000, like if you're already spending $60,000, I think I'd spend the extra 10 grand, get the performance. But if this is what fits within your budget, I still think this is a great EV. It's got tons of good safety tech. It's very comfortable. It drives really well. Acceleration's good. And it still has this, like, it looks identical. Like, you can't tell the difference between this and a performance, like, or a regular person at least couldn't from the exterior. So let me know what you guys think about the Advanced, and would you go Advanced or performance?